All right, it is 1:55. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I just want to make sure that you can see what I'm sharing and you can hear me. If you can just give me a thumbs up. I know on Teams there's like a way at the top that you can give like thumbs up. And I know I can't see, thank you. I know I can't see the chat. So if at any moment you have a question or there is a question in the chat, please let me know because I doesn't show it to me. I'm like, I see like a little strip of you all, not really the whole chat. Okay, so welcome to our PSJA Technology Conference. Today, I believe this is our last session for the day. This is the Using AI as an Instructional Planning Tool. My name is Denisse Garcia. I am the CLL at Ramirez Elementary. At the end of the presentation, I do give you my email for any questions that you may have, or if you'd like me to go more thorough on this presentation with you, individual one-on-one, I can do that at a later date. So I'm open for you guys to contact me, if you need anything. So let me go ahead and get started. So the presentation on its own, the way it came about to me wanting to do AI is because I believe that the technology world is evolving continuously, and it's crucial for us educators to stay updated with the latest tools like AI, especially AI, because it has facilitated so much of what I do and what teachers do in our instruction and our planning. So this session on its own, it's going to be more of a introductory to AI. It's not really advanced. We will get there. We will get to you being able to play around with the AI and all of that. But before I get to do that, I'm going to show you what are the things that you can do with AI and then some suggestions as well. So the AI platform that I will be presenting on today, it is on Chat GPT. There is a variety of AIs out there. I know we have Magic School, we have Copilot, there's so many, but for me, the easiest one was Chat GPT. Magic School to me, it has so many components of it, and it could get a little frustrating. For me, I don't know about you, but I see a lot of stuff on it. And for me, Chat GPT is very straightforward. So what is ChatGPT? It is an AI-powered tool, and it can assist us educators by providing either quick answers, explanations, and suggestions on either your teaching strategies, resources you might need, lesson planning, assessments, and professional development. And most importantly, I think this is the biggest takeaway you're going to get from today is that it's going to save you a lot of time on things that you might need, and it's going to offer you new perspectives. It happens que como a mí se me cierra la cabeza and I can't think of something, or I know what I want to do, but I can't go further. I don't know how to start it. So ChatGPT has really opened that door for me to not be scared or not be like overwhelmed that I have to do something. I can just ask it in hopes that it can respond with something that I like, or I can keep asking it to where it gets to where I need what answer I need. So before we get started, I do want to see how familiar you are with AI. So get your phone out if you have it there handy and go ahead and scan this QR code. You will get a kind of like a vote, a poll. You're going to vote from a scale of 1 to 5. How familiar are you with AI? So I'll leave this QR code up and then I will show you the results that we're having. Your results are going to be combined with my morning session. So you'll see the percentages a little higher just because it is 2 sessions that I had for today. So this is the QR code. I'll give you about a minute. All right, so we see um our little pie chart here growing a bit. We have some of us that are not familiar at all with what AI is. We have somewhat familiar, but I know very little. And that's, I think, our biggest chunk, 42%. And then we have moderately familiar, I understand the basics. And then we have somebody that's quite familiar and can use and explain some AI tools. So for that person, it might be a little repetitive and you might already know how to navigate Chat GPT, but hopefully you can take something back as some of the prompts that you can use it for or how you can use it in your own classroom. Now, for those of you that are in that 42%, that pink part, I hope that by the end of the session, you can at least jump one more to either moderately familiar or quite familiar with our AI. Now, who can ChatGPT help? We have ChatGPT that can help our teachers. ChatGPT can also help our librarians. It can help our administration, and it can also help our counselors. But most of all, ChatGPT can actually help everybody. ChatGPT is not designed for educators, but it does help educators. But if you have somebody who is either, let's say, in a business major or they are trying to get a job qualification or they're trying to do anything that has to do with them having to ask a question and get something in return, like an answer, Chat GPT can help. So I know that right now you're getting trained as educators, but if you can spread the wealth and the knowledge that you're gaining today to somebody else, maybe a family member, and you can show them how to use Chat GPT, it could also help them whether they're educators or not. So I hope you can take this back and you can share it out to others. Now, how is it going to help me or what can it do for me? The most important one, like I said, is it's going to save you a lot of time. If you need something done quick or a question done quick answered quickly, ChatGPT can help. It can offer you a new perspective. If you're stuck trying to come up with a new idea, ChatGPT is also able to help. And then it also helps with your professional development. For example, if you're looking for an instructional tool or how to use an instructional tool like your SIF into your lesson that's already given to you from PSJA, you are able to do that as well, or create a completely new lesson guide using ChatGPT. So these are most of the stuff that I'm going to be going over with you today. Now, do you remember the early 2000s when we had chat rooms and everybody was talking to like your pen pals or friends from away, and you were basically just chatting, asking questions, getting responses back? That's essentially what this is, but with oh my gosh, I got disconnected. I'm sorry. Can you guys see me? Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened, but okay, let's continue. All right, let's present here. All right. So, like I was saying, you're basically just chatting. It is a chat, which is why I find it so easy for you to use because it's just one section that you have to type on where you get responses from, and it's at the same time responding to you. There's not really a lot of buttons that you need to click, so it's very friendly. You're just chatting with somebody, but it's with AI. Now, remember, once you do use AI and it's something that you don't like the response that it's giving to you can ask for it to give you another response. You don't need to just say, oh, I didn't like what it gave me and then give up on AI. You can keep asking it to either to fix it, I didn't like it, try something different, and it will fix it for you. And let's say you liked part of it, but you want to modify it or extend a certain section that you saw, you can also ask it. And we'll do some examples of those, of extending it. I know that we did one on, like, let's say a lesson plan, and they had they said to use a graphic organizer. And I said, okay, well, what kind of graphic organizer? I'm not sure what you're talking about, right? So I just asked it, what kind of graphic organizer in detail could you explain would work for this activity? And it explains it in detail, step by step. It can also even do where exactly what you have to say in a lesson. You can also ask it that, like, I wanted word by word what a teacher has to say and what a student would respond. You can also ask it like that. So really, with AI and with Chat GPT, all you have to do is ask, and if you ask, then you shall receive. Now, one of the things that can be mostly used for is to give you those lesson ideas. I know that PSJA does give you your lessons, but let's say that you are doing a tutoring group, or you're doing a small group, or you have a lesson idea right from PSJ and you want to modify it, or you want to fix part of it, or you want to create your own lesson for that day, right? Or you felt like, I taught it, but not all kids understood the way I taught it. I want to teach it another way. Now, if you look at this slide right here at the top, this purple thing is me. This is what I am asking it. Now, I know Valentin mentions to be nice to AI when you're asking for things, because one day they're going to take over the world. But honestly, I don't say like please or thank you or anything like that. Some of my stuff is not even spelled correctly, and it's fine. AI understands what you're trying to get across, right? So I just put here an engaging lesson for poetry elements for kinder students. I put the grade level, I put what I wanted, and I said that I wanted a lesson. However, this is still very vague. It could get even more specific. I could have put a TEAC. I could have put a subgroup that I'm working with. Is it our EL population, our EB, sorry, or our SPED population? Am I doing this on a beginning Monday, or is it for a Thursday that I've already gone the entire week teaching? So you can make the question as specific as you'd like. And as you can see, it gave me the entire lesson with the objectives and materials needed. It is a lot that it gives you when you do ask for lessons. You can ask it to shorten it. You can say, I like this, make it shorter for 20 minutes, right? This is, I think, for a 60-minute lesson. You could also ask it for it to be a gradual release. I do, we do, you do, right? So it's just whatever you'd like to do. And we're going to try some out at the end of our session today. The next one that I really liked for our upper grades that are start testing and reading, it does help you create writing prompts. And actually, this is what the curriculum writing team did this summer for the curriculum for this coming year. They used Chat GPT to write, or to help, not to write really, it helps writing the prompts. So all you have to do is copy and paste the star passage. So for example, right here at the top, what I did is I used a prompt that was already used in a STAR test, 2023, I believe it was sixth grade. Explain some ways humans benefit from allowing robots to complete simple tasks at home and in the workplace. And I just put create a prompt like this one. And what I had to do is I used let's say a 2019 story that did not have an ECR. I copied, I pasted it onto here, and you don't even have to worry about, oh, it's because it has the paragraph number, the page number, or you don't have to worry. Leave it as it is, as it copied. You put it in, and then you ask that question, and it'll create a prompt for you. Now, the prompt, it's like a hit or miss. I've had some that are really good and some that I'm like, my kids might not get it. but that's where you go back and you can say, okay, try again. I want a different one, or I like that one, but maybe make it shorter. And you can also ask it to answer the question for you using text evidence. So that way you know, hey, this is what my kids are expected of me from this prompt. But you have to play with it in order for you to get comfortable. Keep on asking, especially like that copy and paste from the STAR release passages. There is another thing that you can do for STAR, which are your STAR STEM questions. So, ever been stuck on creating questions from stories using the STAR STEM questions? I know que me quebraba la cabeza sometimes, like that binder that we had and looking through them and reading it. This will save you time and maybe even give you that different perspective that we're talking about. You might be thinking the story one way and this could be doing it another way. Now, you can see on the left side, I asked the question in Spanish. So Chat GPT types in Spanish and responds to you in Spanish. So that's awesome. And the Spanish that I've seen, that I've used it with a Chat GPT, it's a very good Spanish. I want to say that it's even better than Google Translate. I've used Google Translate and have to go back to Chat GPT and translate everything. I know I created like supply list for my campus, and then I was like, oh my God, I need to translate all of this. So ChatGPT just helped me out translating. It has really good Spanish and really good translations. And this one that I did here was crea una pregunta de medio nivel que dice, lee las oraciones, blank, I left it blank, ¿qué puede inferir el lector acerca de blank? And then the same thing, I copied and pasted the story from the STAR test or the story of the week, and then it did the question for me. And then I tried it in math as well, did the same thing. And this might help you out, especially because we do have that new math curriculum and we do have Eureka, and we have, we know we want to incorporate those STAR STEM questions in there. And with this, you can, right, create a problem exactly like this one, but with different numbers. Give me a new answer choice. Give me new answer choices as well. So I copied and pasted a STAR release test question, and then it created one very similar to it. You can even ask it to solve it for you. It can be done with any subject and any grade level. It doesn't necessarily have to be the elementary level. You can do middle school and high school to help you create those questions for your kids. The next thing, which sounds a little cheesy, but I do use quotes at the end of like my emails or at presentations that I have. And I have it in my head like what I want to say, but it just doesn't come out right. Like it doesn't come out professional, or it doesn't like give like the like what I'm trying to like say. So for sure, I've used this one. For example, write a small quote about how intentional planning and data analysis can drive student achievements for teacher motivation. It was for one of my CLL presentations that I had, and I was like, oh my God, I was thinking that, but I just couldn't put it into writing. But ChatGPT was able to, instead of like breaking my head, I go to ChatGPT and ask, and it could be for the simplest things, like for example that translation that I did. It could be just for that, and it's very, very helpful because it's very, very fast. It's like combining all the internet into one chat that you have. Another one is finding a hook for your lesson. I know we want to wow all our students, and we want to make sure that we relate the new stories that we're introducing to them, or a new skill that you're introducing to them. So I did use something for that. I copied and pasted the story again onto ChatGPT, and then I asked what could be a good hook to students to use. I don't even spell it right. To use for students in a PowerPoint to get them engaged, right? And have you noticed my spelling? I don't spell it right. I don't capitalize some things. I don't leave spaces. And ChatGPT understands. So don't feel like that you have to be perfect when you're asking ChatGPT something, because even if you don't get what you're looking for, you can just rephrase your question again. And then for this one, it just considered compelling image or artwork, showing a blend of different artistic expressions. And if you think it's too short what they're giving you, you can ask to elaborate. Can you elaborate, and how would it look in the classroom? just as you start playing with it and seeing what you need to ask it in order for it to help you and what you need Chat GPT for. So these are just some of the guidelines if you're starting with ChatGPT or if you're, getting familiar with it. The first thing, like I said, be very specific. The more specific that you are, the less you have to go and ask another question again. So if you give everything exactly as you wanted with every detail, then chances are you're going to like that first response rather than you having to go back and say, hey, can you add this, or you're missing this? I wanted it actually for second grade. I wanted it for this take actually. If you're more specific, it's better. So there in that pink arrow, it kind of shows you like, how do I teach reading? That's very vague, very broad. But if you try something like, what are effective strategies for teaching phonemic awareness to first graders? You're already being specific. You are asking for strategies, you are asking for specifically phonemic awareness, and you've given a grade level first grade. So the more specific you are, the better your response would be. And then I would recommend you start small. Start with simple requests like, I need discussion questions, I need essential questions, I need to summarize this article or summarize this story that I'm reading next week. And then once you're familiar with using, right, ChatGPT, you can start asking for more complex tasks like developing that full lesson plan or even creating differentiated instruction materials, which we're actually going to jump into that complex task today just so that you can see how much it can give you. And the last thing is experiment. Keep trying. Don't give up on AI. Try the different approaches. If something, that same question didn't work out for you, try it in a different way or even refine that prompt and ask it again. Just keep trying until you get what you're looking for. There's no limit on how many questions you can ask ChatGPT or how many times it can respond back to you or fix it for you. There's not really a limit. So if you keep trying, you keep getting ideas out of it. So let's go ahead and try it. Now, first things first, I do want to show you just a couple of tools that you're going to see when you use ChatGPT before we start. The first thing is right when you get a response back from ChatGPT, you will have these four little icons or images, these tools. The first one is it can read it to you aloud. I know some of it is like super long, like especially those lessons, and you want it to read it to you. It can. The next one is to copy. Let's say you like that lesson and you want to copy it and you want to put it on Word and maybe fix it up. You can. It can also regenerate, like you didn't like that response, just click that button and it will do it again for you. Or you can just click dislike, because AI is also kind of trying to read you as what you're asking and what you like and what you don't like to make sure that it's giving you what you're looking for each time you log into ChatGPT. The next one is if you don't want to go into the chat and then rephrase that question again and type it again, you can always just edit that first question you asked with that little pencil that's right there next to your question. However, I don't use this because then I have to scroll all the way up and fix it. I just rewrite my question again, but it's preference. It's up to you whether you want to do it that way or you want to do it the other way. Now, before we jump into our first task, I'm going to have all of us log in together. So I am going to put the, oops, I'm going to put the, okay, there we go. On the chat, I did put the link for ChatGPT. However, if you somehow forget the link, you can always just go to Google and you can always just click here and put ChatGPT and find ChatGPT and it'll open it up for you. Start now and you should be here. I am already logged in, but let's say, for example, I'm going to log out. If I am not logged in and I need to log in, I have always logged in with Google using your PSJA credentials. So at this moment, go ahead and try logging in to Chat GPT. And then once you're logged in, go ahead and give me a thumbs up so I know if I'm missing somebody, if I'm going a little too fast. Go ahead and say, put continue with Google. And it should log you in using your PSJA credentials. And it should look something like this. I think mine's loading. And the link is in the chat for you to log in here. Perfect. Thank you. I got a thumbs up already. Now, if you can see mine on the left side, I have like a bunch of these things right here on the side. That is all that I've ever asked ChatGPT. So it saves every time you've asked a new question to it, like a new section, a new chat. So for example, we're talking about math and you're on that same chat, then you can continue talking about math all throughout the year, right? Now, let's say you want to start a chat about reading or ECRs or STAR, then you can always start a new chat up here and then start, let's say, a reading chat. And it will say, it'll automatically give it a title. You don't have to put a title. It'll automatically give it a title and it'll keep it there. So let's say mid-year, you want to go back and ask again about math or maybe that same TEK, then you can go back and look at what it is that it gave you. So which is awesome because I know some of our AIs, once you use it, it doesn't save what it gave you, and then once you log out, like you lose the information. And for ChatGPT, all year long, I've had it, and it saved my stuff that I have. All right. So once that you are here, it gives you some prompts that you can look for, right? As you notice here, you have create a cartoon illustration, what to do with kids' art, pick an outfit to look good on camera, fun facts about the Roman Empire. So it's not tailored just for educators, but we're making it for us, right? We're using it to the best of our advantage. But you can use it for anything, even the suggestions that it's giving you, right? It's not just for us. So I'm going to give you a task. Task number 1. I want you to ask Chat GPT, and I'm going to put this on the chat, that way it's easier for you to type. This is going to be your first chat with Chat GPT. Now I want you to look closely at how I worded this prompt. I was very, very specific. I said create a reading lesson that uses the gradual release, part of your t-test, gradual release, right? With student-centered learning, also part of your t-test. We want those students to take ownership of their learning for a second grade classroom. I give them a grade level, and using the TEK 2.6E, which is making connections, with 3 levels of differentiation, also t-tests. So right there, you're already hitting 3 or 4 different components of your t-tests. And best of all is that you're not actually going to do it. ChatGPT is going to do it. And you're going to get ideas from it. So I put it on the chat so you can copy and paste it onto ChatGPT. So right here, we're going to paste it at the bottom. And you can either press enter or you can press that little arrow at the bottom. And is everybody looking? Because it's going to be magic. Watch this. Watch this. Okay, so like I said, it's going to be long, especially those lessons. They're going to be very, very long. So here we have 2.6e, which is making inferences. I thought 2.6e was making connections. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. I really thought it was making connections. Okay, so we have our lesson plan here. We have our I do, we have our we do, and we have our you do. So it did give me, right, the gradual release. And not only that, it gave me the differentiation during independent work. So I have support level, on level, and the challenge, which is below grade level, at grade level, and above grade level. And it gives me exactly what it is that we are going to do. Now, if you see here, there's things like clue from the text and the inference I made. Now, I have never like used any of those organizers. So then you could also ask like, how does that organizer look like? So that you can get an idea of it. It also gives you a closure and even an exit ticket. And you have materials and follow-up extensions. Now let's say, oh my God, that's way too high for my second graders. Like they're not going to be able to do this. I need something that's different, or I don't like this one. I just don't like it. Remember, you do have that regenerate, and it can create you a whole new one. An entire new lesson. Yeah, it gives you everything. You do have to read through it. Now, if there's something that you don't like, you can fix it. For example, let it finish. Okay. Now, what I wanted to see is there's a graphic organizer here somewhere that I saw. Where is it? Right here. Assign each group their passage and graphic organizer. Now, I don't know what graphic organizer is talking about. Like it says here again, like provided graphic organizer, but it didn't really explain what graphic organizer I can use. So I can ask it, what graphic organizer would I use? How does it look? Because I don't know what you're talking about, right? I need you to be more specific. I can put be specific. All right, so it even tells you how it's going to look, the visual elements. It's going to give you, that's what I like about it, because sometimes I don't understand some of the stuff it tells me because I haven't seen it, right? I'm not familiar with that strategy. So I can ask it, I've never heard of the strategy. What is it, right? So this one is literally telling you how to fold it, how to do it, how is it going to look. So it has everything on here. And it's awesome. And this is just for lessons. Remember, you can ask it to make essential questions. You can ask it to do star STEM questions. You can ask it for literally anything. I had to write up, like one of the clubs, I had to write a letter for the parents, and I didn't know where to start. And oh, Chat GPT to the rescue, right? I just asked it, hey, can you do this? Can you put this together for me? And it does it for you. Now, I'm going to give you a challenge, okay, for our task number 2. For our task number 2, we're going to continue with creating a lesson plan. However, I want it to be a hook, and we're going to do it in math now. For a 3rd grade math class who is starting to learn division. Now, your challenge here is I did it very, very vague, right? What I'm asking ChatGPT is not very specific. So I'm challenging you to add something in this prompt to make it more specific. You can say add a tick on there, add a problem, a word problem, add a subgroup. You can add, create a hook for a 3rd grade math class of EBs, or for my speds, or you can add a SIF strategy, add a hook using writing to learn for a third grade math class who is starting to learn division, or for a small group, or for intervention, or for tutoring after school, and make it engaging, hands-on. So I'm giving you just like the skeleton of that prompt, but I want you to add to it. So I'm going to give you some time for you to kind of play around with that prompt and make it more specific. And what I want you to do is I want you to put it in the chat and put your new prompt in the chat. So maybe we can also look yours up, your prompt up. So right now I'm just giving you a couple of minutes for you to do it on your own. And any questions you may have, you have the floor as well at this time. If you want me to try something out. Give me about 2 minutes for that. Now it really just takes practice of you using and keep on asking it questions. Don't give up on it. And it's very, very, very simple. Like the layout is very simple for you to use. So it's not something where you have to click a million buttons. You're just chatting with the AI, with the robot, right? And remember, you don't have to be polite. I mean, you can be polite if you don't want for AI to take you when it takes over the world, but you don't really have to. Just say, for example, like, I don't like these. I want something simpler and shorter. And then it can simplify it for you. That way you're not really like having to read or go through everything, or it's too much for you, right? Because there is some that I'm like, oh, okay, hold on. Like, you gave me too much. I want something smaller. And remember, like right now that we're doing a math one, if you wanted to create a new chat to separate like your reading from your math, you can. As you can see, every time I log in, it creates a new one. Oh, I saw that one, that sharing the treasure hook one. It was real nice. Let me put that one. What did you put for what subgroup? Was it for EBs? Let's see. For EBs in small group. I'm going to do the math one. Let's see. There it is, sharing the treasure. I thought this one was neat. I had seen it. It's like a treasure chest with like coins or gems or something, and they're sharing it with their friends. So it's like hands-on, and each of them has like like a treasure chest that they're doing. Yeah, you have your visual, your hands-on, your discussion, and then the connection to division. Now there was one that was oh yeah, for beginners. That is hands-on. Perfect. I'm reading the chat, sorry. Yeah, that works. Sharing marbles equally. And I know there was a discussion part, and here, like, ask questions like, how many gems did each friend get? And I wanted to see, like, what essential questions can I ask after the activity? And then here, right, it gives you questions that you can ask. So even as I know we have some principals that ask for like your essential questions to be up on the board for the week, this can also help you for that, even to create objectives, right? Smart objectives if you needed that. And I had also asked for vocabulary. I wanted to know what vocabulary would help students better understand. And you just keep asking it, and it keeps giving you divide, equal parts, share. And then you have visual aids. Visual aids, real life scenarios, interactive activities that you can do. And you just keep going. What kind of visuals do you mean? A number line, circle diagrams, bar models, division mats, right? Numbers in each group, total number of groups, numbers in each group. Split diagrams, which we see in math. So it gives you a lot. I think it also gives you, you can ask for tables. I did one where I needed for them to create like a schedule for me. Like I copied and pasted like our DMAC, the lowest TEKS that we have, and then I put, can you create a 12-week schedule of the following TEKS using hands-on activities for tutoring? Like those lesson plans that you have to do. And it created some. Some were good, some were not, but hey, at least I got an idea of it, right? So it kind of gives me a different perspective and it saves me a lot of time. And it created a table for me. So it's just a matter of playing around with what it is that you're looking for. Now, I know that it is hard to think of things, right, that you want to ask it because there's so much that you can ask it. And I kind of researched and looked for like an article or something that can kind of give you all just like a better view of what you can ask it all in one. And this is the one that I found, that Splash Learn. So I'm going to share it in the chat. This one has 65 plus prompts for teachers, and it has a bunch of stuff. It has for icebreakers, behavior, time management, like help me create a daily schedule template for my classroom, right? Share ideas for arranging desks to promote better focus. It can also help you um, reply to your parents, right? Your parents that you have, like, hey, I need to reply to a parent. What can I say that has some good, like, some good feedback with like some feedback for growth? How can I start it off, the email or the class dojo message you're sending, right? Communication with parents. But there's so many prompts here that you can try out, right? They have them by subject. So I'm sending this to you just so you can kind of see. And I think the more that you talk to other people about AI, or the more you play around with it, you'd be surprised just what it can do. I know we were working like on our kindergrad, and we were looking for like how to say it, like how to introduce the principal on stage for like the smallest thing, right? For the graduation. Because we didn't know how to start. What do we say, right? So we did it like that through Chat GPT, and it did it so professional and so nice. So it really helps out with pretty much anything that you can think of. And it is very, very simple to it's a good interface. It's simple to maneuver. Now, this does conclude. I know we ended about 10 minutes early, um, but it does conclude my presentation. Thank you so much. My email is there, denisse.garcia, no number, but make sure you do put a double S on Denisse. If not, you will be emailing a principal who has the same name. But any questions that you guys have, or any aha moments that you had? Is there anything that you were like, wow, it's mind blowing just the things that AI can do. Anybody? I know it went a little fast. I get excited talking about AI and I'm just like, but honestly, any questions that you have, please do not hesitate to message me if you want me to go through it again or, hey, I'm on here, but I asked this question and it didn't give me what I wanted. How can I rephrase it? Just message me, okay? I'm available, whatever you all need. And then that's pretty much it. Let me give you I know there is a survey at the end of this one because it is our last session. Now we do have, oh, thank you, Ms. Carmona. I was about to put it. So thank you, yes, for attending this session. The top link is a session evaluation for this one. You have to look for the title of this one, which was our AI, using AI as an instructional planning tool. That's the title for this session. And then there is also an end of conference survey, which is kind of like of everything that you all saw today. There was a lot of great presenters out there. And then on Monday, they are going to update that door prices. If you were able to check in, remember it was Tech 24. If you weren't able to check in, please check in. That way you do qualify for any of those door prices. And then any questions, just let the instructional technology department know. And I think that's pretty much it. Am I missing something? I think that's it. They are recording these sessions, so they will have them up on the Instructional Technology Department YouTube. Hopefully, by the end of next week, they'll have them all ready to go, and you can go back and you can see the session or the morning session or any of the sessions that were here today. But if there are no more questions, then we're done here. Thank you so much for your time and for joining me.